Hi everyone and welcome back. I've got a Dom R Plus with rattlesnake pins this time around. This is a pretty cool little lock. This is the second lock that I've picked that has rattlesnake pins in it. The other was a Dom S, I believe it was, and it took me a while to figure out the feedback from the rattlesnakes and how to deal with it, how to recognize it really, and then how to deal with the snakes. So I'm gonna pick this one, and I'm gonna try and talk through it. And the process is a little bit different. I mean, I typically do the jiggle test, look for the binder, but I found with these rattlesnakes, the wafers that make up the body of the rattlesnake tend to, I don't know if they're a different diameter, like a little bit smaller diameter than the shoulders of the rattlesnake pin that would kind of look like a spool, I guess. Or if because they're loose and they're able to move freely, that they kind of turn or flop around this way and that, and maybe that reduces their effective diameter. I'm not sure, but I found that if you just hunt around for the binding pins, which may not be rattlesnakes, and pick those, often what will happen is when you do get to a binding rattlesnake and you get a click or two out of it, it'll cause the other pins to drop. So for that reason, I think I'm just going to get started. Enough talking. Let's get some picking going. Here's the key. Key works. Be tensioning with what is this? A multi-pick champion tension wrench, I believe it is. And I'll be using my multi-pick short hook. What's the diameter here? 0.5 mil. So pin 1 is loose. Springy. I'm going to differentiate between loose and springy. I think up until this point I've been using those two terms interchangeably, but they're really not. Pin 2 is binding. I got a little something out of it. It's springy now. Pin 3 is springy. 4 is binding. Got a little click. It's springy now. 5 is springy. Let's go back to 1. 1 is binding. Oh. Still binding. So I heard everything else drop, and I got like a click out of 1. Now it's springy. 2 is binding again. It dropped. I got a little bump. I felt some rotation or some counter rotation in the core. 2 is springy now. 3 is springy. 4 is binding. I got a tiny little click out of 4. It's springy. 5 is springy. Let's go back to 1. Where is it? 1 is springy. Am I on it? Yeah. 2 is springy. 3 is binding. Got a little bit out of it. Wouldn't even call it a click. It was more like an exhale, a relaxing of the pin, I suppose. 4 is springy. 5 is binding. Got a little click out of 5, and it's springy now. Back to 1 is springy. 2 2. 2 is binding. Oh. Little click out of 2 and I heard a bunch of things drop. Two is springy now. 2 is, yeah, springy. 3 is springy. 4 is binding. Got a little muted clunk out of 4 and it's springy now. 5 is binding, or I think it was. Yeah, another little, tiny little something from 5. Back to 1. 1 is springy, quite springy. 2 is springy. 3 is springy. 4 springy. And so is 5. So here we are. This is the rattlesnake experience. Everything is springy. But, so 1 is springy. But it moves a lot. I'm going to leave it alone. 2. Am I on 2 again? 2 is springy. 3 is springy. 4 is springy, and I bet 5 is too again. Yes. I'm going to switch to a deep hook for 1. And I'm going to try and get something out of it. Yeah. So 1, if you push it up a bit, then it binds. But it feels kind of mushy. Oh. So I got a little bit of counter rotation out of 1 and a click, but before that click, I heard some pins drop. Now 1 still feels springy and it's traveling a lot, but it's not coming all the way down. 2 is springy. Let's switch back to a short hook. 3 springy. 4 is binding again. Click out of 4. 5 is springy. And go back to 3. Springy. Springy. 4 is springy. 5 is binding. Got a little click out of it. I'm going to try 1 again. Yeah, so 1 is still up, but it is springy. I'm going to try for another click. I got another click and I heard some more pins drop. But 1 is springy and it's staying up. 2 is springy. 3 is binding. Got a little click from 3. 4 is binding again. Another click from 4. It's springy. And 5 is out of the way. Back to 1. Springy. 2 is springy. 3 is springy. 4 was binding a little bit, and as I touched it, it gave way. It's springy again. Where's 5? 5 was bound. I gave it a little nudge, and I got some core rotation. Where's 1? Still springy. Now, I'm going to go back to this. So, 1 is a rattlesnake. I think that much ought to be clear. There's all those clicks we got out of it, and it stayed up. It's springy, but just a little. There's just a little bit of travel now, which I think the rattlesnake is above shear. I think it's set because of that tiny little bit of movement. Same with 2. It's springy, but it's only moving just a little bit. So I think we've got to hold out. 3, 4, or 5. 3 was springy. 4 was binding. I gave it another little nudge. And we got some more core rotation. 5 is springy. How's 3? 3 feels springy. 4 is springy. Just a little bit. 5 is springy. So, how about 1 springy, 2. We're getting some counter rotation from 2. And it's open. So 2, which is another rattlesnake, had one bottom shoulder to go, and then it cleared shear. So these rattlesnake pins they're quite interesting. I mean, they give feedback that can be quite confusing. They remain springy, but they seem to move more when they're binding on a wafer, on a rattlesnake wafer. And then when they're set and they're at shear, above shear, they don't move quite as much. They feel like a normal jiggly but set driver. Anyway, enough yapping. Where's my follower? C-clip pliers. Uh-oh. Where'd that go? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I've got the key. I don't need the key. There's no surprises in here, I don't think. So, let's get this out. There we go. Let's take a look at the key pins here. There's 1 is a standard, 2 is a standard, 3 is a torpedo, a long one too, 4 is a standard, 5 is a standard. Here's the plug. Nothing special there, no milling of any kind. That keyway was difficult to tension. I had a pry bar in the top. It just wasn't working out. So I thought I'd switch to that champion wrench. Works quite well. In the bottom of the keyway anyway. I haven't used them very much, but I like them. Number 1, there we go, is a rattlesnake. You can see there's 2 wafers, and then the top and bottom shoulders. That was in 1. 2 is another rattlesnake, but this one is only 1 wafer, and the top and bottom shoulders. What are we on here? 3. 3 is a standard, no. Looks like a taper. Yeah. I'll come back to that one later. Oh, what's this? Looks like it's got a steel core. Is that anti-bump, I guess? 4 is another taper. And so is 5. Let's get those springs out. Is that all of them? Where's my pick? Got a stubborn one here. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. Oh, I can see why. It's a little bit mangled. Let's see if I can straighten that one out later. Okay. Spring. Springs. Let's take a look inside here. Nothing really noteworthy. See the Bible. Can you see the Bible? There. Otherwise, yeah. So that's it. Let's see if we can get in on the pins. I'll show you what I was talking about here. So you can see the ends rather, have some tapering. And my eyes aren't great, but what is that? Is that like a dovetail, or is that, where's my other tweezers? No, it's not dovetail. It's just a cool little tapered barrel, I suppose. Anyway, and there you can see that steel insert. Here's another one. 3 and 4 look to be the same. You can see that tapering on the top and the bottom. Yeah, oh, here's that torpedo key pin. A nice little overset trap. It's a minimal lift pin. Oh, speaking of which, what's that, 3? Let's put these in. Let's put in 1 and 2 as well. And we can see how, 2. Key pin number 2 is a, looks like an anti-bump as well. Got that little steel insert in it. Anyway, what are we doing here? Right. So you can see with the key pins in, there isn't a whole lot of, can I get it somewhere where you can see? There isn't a whole lot of space in the top of the plug there for this guy to really do much of anything. All it took was a little nudge to get that set. Here's a rattlesnake. This is the one, it's shorter. It's got 1 wafer. Oh, look at that. It sits almost completely below. The shear's just a little bit sticking up. So then I guess we get, how many clicks did we get out of that one? 1, 2, yeah. Wait a minute, no. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. We would have got 3 clicks out of that before it's set. Let's put one in, and that one isn't a whole lot more sticking up. So we got, what, 3 clicks out of that one too? Or was it? Yeah, it was 3 clicks out of one and 2 clicks out of two. What did I want to show you here? I wanted to show you how much those wafers actually move. It's not a lot, but when, see if I can hold it like this. When it's binding on a wafer, you really feel that movement. I mean, there's not a lot. Oh, that's not working. Come on. Can I hold it like this? You really feel that movement. It does feel springy, but you feel the travel of the pin. It's more than it would be when the pin is set. And that, for me, was what tipped me off to the presence of rattlesnakes there. And that's how I that's the feedback I hunt for, to tell me if it still needs another click or not, another lift. Anyway, what are we at here? 21 minutes. What the heck? Okay. Dom R+ with rattlesnakes. It's a fun lock. Those rattlesnakes are pretty cool too. If you get a chance to try one, definitely do. And I'll see you next time. Thanks very much for watching.